All of us at some time or the other make assumptions about what others need. We are both sympathetic and empathetic beings, and we are not always wrong. But when we unknowingly project our needs and wants onto others, we are on thin ice. This is particularly true when it comes to the relationship between a mother-in-law and her daughter-in-law. Let's learn to stay relevant. Hello and welcome to Navigate with Kalpana. The world is a stage, and indeed it is. Sometimes we feel that we are required to set up the stage in the right way for things to play out effectively. A mother of a 32-year-old son told him not to be in a hurry to marry, as he had yet to set up for himself and his bride a suitable home with all the right things in it. Her advice implied that once this was achieved, his wife could walk into a comfortable home and they would live happily ever after. From a mother-in-law's point of view, this was a kind and considerate thought. However, she was making a mistake, that of assuming she would know what a young woman, whom neither she nor her son had yet met, would want, or what her idea of comfort was. For a potential mother-in-law to assume that she knows what her as yet unidentified daughter-in-law would want, like and need, is quite honestly setting herself up for being disappointed. It is an open playing field out there. The idea of a set-up home, quite frankly, disturbed me. It implied that the bride was one more item that would complete the perfect picture. Am I being too negative? Let's consider these scenarios. Say, the young bride-to-be is a baker who bakes exquisite cakes and brings in a good-sized income. Her needs of the home kitchen are going to be different. If she is a seamstress who makes beautiful clothes for a select clientele, she will require storage as well as well-lit drafting and sewing space. If she had a startup that makes organic mosquito repellent, she will require a home lab of sorts. If she is an HR consultant, she will require a quiet space to make calls and follow-ups and a home office to conduct interviews. If she is a corporate executive, she will require a separate room for a full-time nanny, and so on. Besides career options, there is the personal factor of taste and preference that needs to be taken into consideration. Blue may not be her favorite color for the bedroom, and she may really want a round dining table rather than the square one mother-in-law had in mind. The daughter-in-law may just accept everything that is dished out to her and then start dishing out on the mother-in-law. A very busy, enterprising mother-in-law had to stay at home to be a nanny to the grandkids because the daughter-in-law turned out to be even more ambitious and enterprising than her. As older women, we are quick to identify with the needs of a daughter-in-law and young wife. We recall the times when we have been uncomfortable with certain arrangements. Some of us were expected to be uncomfortable because having everything at one go would make us spoilt and complacent. That struggling was a reality and we needed to have our feet firmly on the ground. As a young Navy wife, I recall a senior admiral's wife commenting that we, younger wives, expected too much in terms of basic needs of housing and conveniences, and that her generation of wives had been stoic, vocalizing far less, and had put up with much greater inconveniences. I remember sitting back with a frown thinking that yes, that was why my lot had to complain twice over, once for her lot and then for ourselves. If they had done their bit, then maybe we would all have been better off today. For many of us, it was an aspiration that we would move into a comfortable home once married. Today, we know that these homes do not happen overnight. Home is more than a physical structure. Many of us have moved around on transferable jobs, yet we managed to create a comfortable home to the best of our financial resources and abilities wherever we went. And it was the creative aspect, usually done jointly over a period of time with limited resources, taking various personal needs and stages of family life into consideration, that made a house into a home. As older people, especially older women, let's learn to stay relevant. Let's not set ourselves up for disappointment and set a scene that's bound to flop. Let's learn to let our children live and learn from their own lives. It's good that our sons and daughters be financially secure before venturing into marriage. But a partner or spouse working together could help achieve that faster. More women today are willing to take on financial responsibilities than ever before. But with that also comes the expectation of doing things their own way, by their choice and preferences. They do not expect to be provided for, but they do expect to be allowed to exercise their own choice. They would like to be respected for having a point of view, a preference, a favorite, and feel free to satisfy a whim or fancy because they believe in indulging themselves without any explanation or justification to others. What do you think? Do you agree? Don't you think this will ease the tension in the mother and daughter-in-law relationship? Leave me a comment. Share your experiences.